Try to keep it as simple as possible, just a mind map about what we have discussed. So I think for all the cases that we have handled, we have experienced, it's almost, the feeling on the ground is that who exactly is the lead investigator? We go to the police say, okay, I can only do this much. We go to AVA say, well, you need this and all that, and we can only do this much. So it all bounced back and forth, and at some stage, you felt like you needed to collect a lot of evidence, you went through a lot of pain, you have done that, but yet everything just ended up and then it just died off. And cases happen again and again everywhere island-wide. So who is the lead investigator? At this point, is AVA, of course, and first responder is Singapore Police Force. However, it's very much have been said that AVA, they themselves have told us that they did not get the full resources to actually help to solve the crime. For example, forensic tests are not available to them. Singapore Police Force say, no, I can't give you that part of our resources. So, and there are also feedback that AVA officer on the ground doing investigation may not be on par or even close to having the same skill set of the Singapore Police Force. Therefore, is it at some point they can be trained to be better and be more equipped to do their job? That's why we have here lead investigator, right? Whether it's AVA or Singapore Police Force, and then we have training that comes down at this point. And at the center we have a box that's resources. At this point, the whole Singapore, everywhere you turn to, they tell you they have no resources. So where are we going to find the resources? One of the ways that already happening is the ground people are all coming together to do patrol in Yishun. But I'm quite sure the first question will be, how sustainable is that? Right. It's not going to be sustainable, we all know that. Therefore, we propose that, and Louis did say that, he will look into having that program incorporated into the COP, which is Citizen on Patrol. So the volunteers could be more equipped to know what is required of them, and probably a lot more training as well. So that means that the training and empowerment, it hopefully can be something like the NEA program that some of you have attended, that you have given a pass and you are empowered to take action if necessary. COP, well, come back to the resources. So Singapore Police Force, everyone tells you they have no resources. However, we charity rely on volunteers to help us, and that's where we get part of our resources. So underlying is actually to find the right people to help you with the task. So the volunteers, right, are the ones that's going to sign up to the COP. And eventually, hopefully at some point, in Singapore we'll have animal police unit. Something we hope will come out from Singapore Police Force, if any. And from there, perhaps it could be a hybrid between AVA and SPF, I don't know. But with that, they are the one who's going to do all the case handling and have all the expertise. And along with that, I'm quite sure that if whoever is running their program, when they make the call to volunteers who want to be part of the program, and I feel that even if they were to offer full-time job, animal-loving people would take that seriously and take that as a career. And that naturally will give you the resources that you need. Now we come to case handling, which is this part. We just link that up. At this point, there's a huge sense of the lack of transparency whenever a case is submitted, reported, when it's being investigated. Yes, of course, during investigation, not too much can be reviewed. We understand that, but sometimes after a year, we still don't hear anything from anyone. Yeah. So I think there's definitely room for improvement and resolution. I think there's hardly any at this point. We hope that if we could have different parts of this improve, hopefully will lead to something. The last part in terms of training, that's a brief discussion we had with Louis. Often than not, I think town council likely the first responder before the police, as he had mentioned that the cleaners may be the one who's actually found the carcass. So simple thing like do not touch the carcass, do not remove them, do not throw them away, do not bury them. Simple things like that can be taught to a few cleaners, and then some kind of training can happen. Also, sometimes people actually call into the hotline of town council. The one who's actually answering a phone call would have no idea what to do. they could just end the call and they go and make themselves a cup of tea. And no one will know something has happened. So we suggested that a simple form of training by Cat Welfare Society, mediators or volunteers can take place, that the front line of the town council people can actually do just a brief Q&A with them, that they are a bit more aware. And also among town council, that we all know that town council obviously have a lot of things to do and they're very busy. And often than not, most of them really doesn't want to care about animal stuff because I'm so busy with fixing this lamppost, water leaking there and all that, I know, kind of stuff. So it's good to actually to appoint, maybe I think 2 would be a good start, town council officer that's in charge of abuse cases. So internally, people will know who to turn to. Externally, once they call the frontline people, the hotline people will know exactly look for Madam Ng and Mr. Tan, something like that. And then when we do our training for the town council, then you know exactly who to appoint to come for the training. We hope that Nee Soon GRC, right, and the town council could lead this so that it will be a good example for the rest of the 15 GRC to follow.
So I can't respond, it's too much.
We give you a couple of years, yeah. So.
I was going to do this towards the end, but I can't really. Maybe, let me just clarify a few things. Town council has come into the picture quite a bit because, as Yuan mentioned, a lot of times the cleaners are the one finding the carcass. So that's why sometimes you see in the media the town council name comes in. Yuan, keep that up, please. And also because the cameras you see in the list actually belongs to the town council. So that's why then the town council with the footage passes it to AVA and the police for them to review. But beyond that, in terms of say the killings or cruelty cases, town council doesn't come into the picture at all. Of course, with the stray management, the community cats management, then they will come into play. So what I've asked Cat Welfare, I'm chairman of the Nee Soon Town Council as well. The chairmans are meeting up next month. If you can get a proposal up and running within a couple of weeks, I don't mind bringing it up with all the chairmans, with Mayor Teo Ho Ping as well, who is the chair of the PAP Town Councils. But if you can get it going, I don't mind raising it to see how we can provide some training together with the MSO as well. Will sort of help collect feedback for town councils shortly. That will be rolling out to all the town councils. With AVA, SPF, AVA is taking the lead on all investigations of animal cruelty. SPF are the first responders because a lot of times you guys are calling the police. So as Janet will know, the police are responding very quickly now for Yishun area. Some of you on Facebook have been asking who's liaising at the police, and we actually have the commander of the NPC that's actively involved now. At the press briefing that we did recently, it is the highest ranking officer that comes for the press briefing. So the commitment is there. With the citizens on patrol, that's something that I've suggested with the people that have joined our fast response team at Nee Soon. We wanted a new program, but getting a new program is very difficult. But if you want to say, tag on to an existing program which we already have island-wide, which is the citizen on patrol. But I know your feedback will be that ends at 10 o'clock. So whether we could have, like I told them, the CCOP, the Cat Citizen on Patrol. After 10 p.m, you guys can kick in. We can get the police to train you up. We can see whether there's enough resources for a police officer to follow at some times. But with the COP, sometimes the police does follow them on patrols. So easier to discuss with NPC whether we can extend that program rather than start up a new program. That one, again, like I assured the feeders in Nee Soon, I'm keen to explore that. With the anti-littering, I think that keen to explore as well. NEA has really outsourced some of its function to the anti-littering ambassadors. Maybe at APA we could look into something like this. We could pilot it at Yishun as well with the fast response team now. Again, these are things that we can look into. Animal police unit, I think Ron will know, Minister and I have met up with all the animal welfare groups. That's something that we will review. No promises, but except that we will look into this at this point. I think when we last met in Funan. Transparency side, I think the comms have improved already. Even at Nee Soon, Janet will tell you I meet up with the feeders quite regularly now to update them on as much as we can. But everyone needs to understand it is an investigation that is undergoing. So there is a limited information we can release, or I can share with, say, I can't give you all the full details now. But everybody has to understand that this is not a this is an animal thing, but in human cases it's the same. If a case is under investigation, as a member of the public, you ask, police can't reveal it. When it's time for prosecution, then by all means, that every evidence has to be given to the defendant. But at the point where it's being investigated, there's a limit to what we can provide.
We have proposed that the sandwich board where a case have happened, and we proposed that to AVA for about 6 and 9 months ago. So as that could be one of being transparent that a case have happened and it's being investigated, and that's good enough, for to start. And maybe you could check with AVA and get some of the sandwich board help.
Maybe I don't need to use the mic. I think with the Nee Soon cases, we have been pretty transparent. We have listed down all the number of cases where they've occurred.
How many cats do one? But work in progress. Maybe for the first one, also about the HDB legislation, I think we have the Love Flats program in Chong Pang. That is still a pilot that's ongoing. But it's also a very labor-intensive pilot, as cat welfare will tell you. To go and microchip, sterilize, ensure that they keep the cats indoor, it is not an easy task. Even if today you say, let's expand it nationwide, I don't think we have the resources to all of a sudden register all the cats, microchip them, sterilize them. And I think a better way forward is to see how we can scale it up slowly. So another constituency or another division maybe. That way I think it will be better than say all of a sudden insisting that we want it nationwide at this point.